Guess who's back? Nah, but yeah, I'm doing this again. It feels weird, but because I haven't done it in like months, like I think 4 months, something like that. Anyway, so today's video is gonna be very chill, very relaxed. Don't really feel like getting heated, as I have done. Anyway, so we're just gonna talk about LGBT representation in most media, well, all media, and how I don't really feel like it's needed. You know, I was just watching this video about, well, not about, but from this girl who's talking about Harry Potter and how she's upset with J.K. Rowling for not including all these characters and why, Sirius Black isn't gay, and oh my god, but Dumbledore is, but it was mentioned as like a passing thing, like, oh yeah, and Dumbledore's gay, because that, like, it doesn't matter or whatever, like, you're complaining about someone else's art, okay? She wrote it for herself. Or if she didn't write it for herself, she wrote it for whatever reason she wrote it for. And that reason did not include making Sirius Black gay. Or whoever. Or Seamus and Dean. Whoever. I don't see why it matters either. Because, like, take another thing, for example. Because I've been thinking about, like, other fictional stories that might follow that. Oh, you could complain about it if you really, really wanted to, kind of thing. Like, take my favorite stories that I've ever heard. Breaking Bad, for example. I don't think there's a single gay character in Breaking Bad, and there doesn't need to be. It's Breaking Bad. It's about meth. It's about a fucking science teacher dying from cancer, building a meth empire, first for his family, then for fun. There's no need. No one's fucking going off at Vince Gilligan saying, why the fuck wasn't Jesse gay and had a teacher crush or some shit like that? Does it need to happen? I mean, yes, I would identify more with Jesse Pinkman if it did, but who the fuck cares? Like, Vince Gilligan did not create Breaking Bad for me. You get me? J.K. Rowling did not create Harry Potter for me. I mean, I was a fucking baby when the first movie came out, so I could just imagine I don't actually know when the first book came out, but if I was even born when the first movie came out, it might have been like a couple months before I was born, or either that, or I was like days or months old. Either way, it came out in 2001. I think this, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm going off about shit that doesn't matter. My point being, take another one, Sherlock, for example. Love the show to death. You know I do. I talk about it enough. Point being, yes, okay, I get the TJLC video, I get all that. Yes, I was upset, but that's because I had truly, truly believed it. Like, and even now, it's not like I can't just watch it and be like, yeah, they're gay. I still get that. But even when I watch it, I'm just like, hey, what the fuck just happened? Like, what did I just watch? It's not in like I don't watch Sherlock for romance. I watch it because it's funny. The drama is great. And fucking Lestrade cracks me up every time. Like, that's my favorite character, honestly. Like, Lestrade, then John, then Sherlock and Mycroft tie, then Moriarty, and like, they all tie because they're so great. Like, the show's just so well written, it's hard to come up with something bad about it. I can't say one bad thing about Sherlock, but yet you've got other people, like someone who I really, really respect for making these videos, that are just incredible, well thought out, well researched, well planned, well talked, everything. From, like I said, from the planning to the presentation was incredible. So, to then see them go dark, because at the end of season 4, Sherlock and John didn't kiss, it's like, okay? Like I said in the old video, we still got an amazing story. So what? This wasn't in the writer's plans. Now, the one thing that did actually upset me was something that Halyard had said on Twitter back in like 2013, when he was basically having a go at the TGLCers, and that got on me for a second. So I was like, that's kind of disrespectful. You could have just said, hey, look, that's not the intentions. Like, my husband is one of the writers. I would know. But is what it is, is what it fucking is. And then, see, this is another thing I want to talk about, because then they'll be like, I saw one of the comments where someone was like, hey, look, she has no obligation to write any type of story for you, She did what she wants. She can do what she wants. It's her characters. That's what you get when you write your own story. So, one of the comments like under that was like, are you LGBT? Because then if you aren't, you wouldn't know what it feels like to never have your something or other, I forget what they said, represented in a normal and healthy way. Really? I mean, I can look down. You're telling me that this movie represents white people in a normal and healthy way, or represents, I don't know, life in the, when did this movie take place? Does it say? That this represents the 70s in a normal and healthy way. That this represents casinos in a normal and healthy way. Or this represents Joe Pesci in a normal and healthy way. You get what I'm saying here? Or that fucking The Hobbit represent... Oh, The Hobbit doesn't really represent much. Like, as far as like stuff I could say, like an everyday thing that we have. Like, okay, I have the first one. So, like, it fucking represents inviting people over to your house in a normal and healthy way. You get where I'm going with this? No, like, normal and healthy. Where do you find normal and healthy in media at all? Like, I'm seriously trying to think. All the romances that I've seen, they've all had problems. Like, it wasn't normal and healthy. It was kind of fucked up. So this will get to my point about their point, which was that Mark Gatiss, I said Gatiss, wow. Mark Gatiss was one of the writers for Sherlock. When I said his husband, Ian Halyard, like, I don't know how long they've been married, but it's for a while now. And Sherlock wasn't gay. Wow. And you can't say, oh, well, that's because Stephen Moffat stopped it because Stephen Moffat wrote the episode with the gay people in Doctor Who. So it's like, okay, well, it wasn't part of their plan for that story. Think about the Wachowskis, since I can't remember the one that isn't Lana's name. I don't know why, I just cannot remember their names. Like, even back when I knew them as Larry and Andy, I could not remember Andy's name, and now she's not Andy, but that's not my point. They're transgender. Nowhere in the Matrix I would know. I've seen all of them, including the Animatrix, so many fucking times, it's ridiculous. But, like, it's my favorite movie series of all time. Of course I would have. It's the reason my favorite color is green, for God's sake. But my point being is that they're trans. You don't see a single piece of trans representation anywhere at all. And no one cares. Because it's the fucking Matrix. Like, there's so much other shit going on. The only relationship we actually care about, which is I think the only relationship that really gets shown until like the third movie, is that between Neo and Trinity. Like, that's the only thing we give a fuck about. And even they're not normal and healthy because they keep going into this fucking digital construct, and like one of them died and the other one scooped his fucking hand into her, ripped that shit out and started her heart and was like, hey, live, bitch. And even then she died in the next movie. Just saying. No. You know, that doesn't need to be there. If the Wachowskis had said, hey, why don't we just make them good friends? Yes, everyone would have been like, oh, you know, Neo slipping it to Trinity every once in a while, which in the second movie, Neo really did just slip it to Trinity. But that's not the point. It's like, even if it was like, you know, Carrie-Anne Moss was fucking Chris Pratt, you know? And then we had that happening. Yeah, I would like that. Obviously, I would like that. But it doesn't need to happen. You know? I mean, there you have two really good examples, you know, with, like, the main two characters who, one of them is together, one of them is not, but, like, they're both at least partially or entirely written by gay people, or let's just say LGBT people. But it just depends on where you want the story to go. For example, with the thing that I'm writing it from my perspective, from my point of view, and the things that I want to see, which is my last point that I'll make, is that if you want to see something so fucking bad, write it yourself. Because no one else is going to get your vision more than you do. I love Edgar Allan Poe to death, but even when I read his stories, I think, you know what? I might have done this part differently. Maybe it wouldn't have been as good. Maybe even I wouldn't have liked it as much, but I probably would have said this, you know. For Pit in the Pendulum, this part doesn't really make sense to me. Like, how big is the pit exactly? Where is everything placed? Because I'm pretty much just in the dark, just as in the dark as this guy is, and it's starting to confuse me, so I have to read the thing over again. You get me? It's just that type of thing, you know. Like, that's my main point, is that, like, I give the people who write the fucked up ass, like weird ass fucking strange fan fiction of characters that would never do this type. I give them so much credit, so much respect, so much love, because I'm like, look, you're doing something about it, okay? You're seeing characters that aren't together, or maybe are, or maybe should be, or something like that, and you're doing something about it. You're like, look, the writers won't do what I want, I'm gonna do what I want. I give that so much more credit than to nag the fucking writers or be like, hey, look, I want this so fucking bad. Why aren't you doing this? Like, oh, you're a fucking bigot because you won't do it. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? When did J.K. Rowling once say, I don't like gay people? I mean, Dumbledore is. I mean, does that not count for anything? If it doesn't, it doesn't. I was just trying to see if I could remember Dumbledore's full name. I think it's like Albus Wulfric something Brian Dumbledore. I don't remember the middle name. Yeah. No, Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Why do you have a long ass name? That's what I want to know. But yeah. I'm not going to drag this video out further. I'm just going to say, you want your representation? Write your representation. Stop complaining that other people aren't doing something that you want it done, do it yourself. And if it's like, oh, you want it done with these specific characters, write fanfiction. That's pretty much it. Laters, I guess. This is so weird.